I thought becoming someone else would finally make me worthy. Instead, it nearly destroyed everything that made me, me. The day I jumped from the highest cliff trying to fly like an eagle, I didn't just fall from the sky. I fell from my own identity. And what happened after that changed every feather on my body forever. My name is Crow, and I was born in the old pine forest where every morning began with the songs of robins, the laughter of squirrels, and the powerful shadow of eagles soaring above us. From the moment I was old enough to fly, I admired them. Whenever an eagle spread its giant wings, every animal looked up in amazement. "Look at that," the rabbits would whisper. "The king of the sky." I listened every single time. Nobody ever looked at me that way. Crows are noisy. Crows are ordinary. Crows survive on leftovers. Those words stayed inside me longer than anyone knew. One afternoon, while I searched for food beside the river, I saw a young eagle landing perfectly on a rock with a fish in his claws. He looked at me and smirked. "What are you staring at?" I wish I could fly like that." He laughed. "You? A crow?" His friends burst into laughter. "Maybe if you paint yourself brown." Their laughter echoed through the valley while I quietly flew away pretending it didn't hurt. But it did. That night I couldn't sleep. I looked at my black feathers and whispered, "Maybe they're right." The next morning I made a decision that would change my life. I would become an eagle. I started copying everything they did. I flew higher. I refused to eat berries because eagles hunted meat. I tried speaking less because eagles looked calm. I even practiced landing on sharp rocks until my feet bled. The other crows noticed. "What are you doing?" my best friend Raven asked. "I'm becoming better." "No," he replied softly. "You're trying to become someone else. You don't understand." "I understand more than you think." I ignored him. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Every failure only made me try harder. One morning I climbed the tallest cliff in the forest. An old owl watched me from a tree. "You don't belong there," he warned. "I'll prove everyone wrong." "You don't need to prove your worth." "I do." "No," he sighed. "You only need to discover it." I didn't listen. Far below, I saw an eagle catching the morning wind. If he can do it. I spread my wings exactly like I had practiced. Then I jumped. For one beautiful second, I believed I had succeeded. The wind lifted me. The clouds felt close enough to touch. Then everything changed. A violent current slammed into me. My smaller wings couldn't control the force. I spun through the air. Branches tore my feathers. The ground rushed toward me. I crashed into the side of the mountain. Pain exploded through my body. I couldn't move. As darkness surrounded me, I heard voices. "Is he alive? It's only a crow. Leave him." Their footsteps disappeared. I lay there completely alone. Hours later someone gently lifted my head. It wasn't an eagle. It wasn't even another crow. It was a tiny sparrow. "Oh no," she whispered. "Stay awake." "I can't." "You have to." She called dozens of small birds. Together they carried me piece by piece to a safe nest. For days they fed me. Protected me. Comforted me. Not because I was important. Because I was hurting. One evening I asked the sparrow, "Why did you help me?" She smiled. "Because that's who we are." Her answer haunted me. The creatures I desperately wanted to impress had abandoned me. The ones I barely noticed had saved my life. That realization hurt more than my broken wings. As I slowly recovered, the old owl visited me. "I warned you." "I know. What were you really chasing?" I stayed silent. Finally I whispered, "Respect." The owl nodded. "And did pretending to be an eagle earn it?" "No. It only made me lose respect for myself." He looked at me kindly. "Exactly. I thought my lesson was over. It wasn't." A few weeks later panic spread through the forest. Hunters had entered the valley. Large nets hung between trees. Animals were disappearing. The eagles immediately gathered. "We'll stop them," their leader declared proudly. They flew straight toward the hunters. But something unexpected happened. The hunters had prepared for them. Powerful ropes and hidden traps forced the eagles higher into the sky. They couldn't reach the ground safely. The mighty hunters of the sky became completely helpless. Everyone panicked. "Who can help us?" I watched quietly from a tree. Then I noticed something. The traps were hidden under leaves. Tiny openings existed between the nets. Places too small for eagles. But not too small for a crow. For the first time in my life, I stopped asking myself what an eagle would do. Instead I asked, "What can I do?" I called every crow in the forest. Some hesitated. "You ignored us." Another added, "You wanted to be one of them." They weren't wrong. I lowered my head. I know. I was ashamed of who I was. "I'm sorry." Silence filled the air. Finally Raven stepped forward. "We've been waiting for you to come home." His words nearly broke me. Within minutes hundreds of crows filled the sky. We flew low. Very low. Too low for the hunters to react. We squeezed through branches. We pecked at ropes. We untied knots. We distracted the hunters by attacking from every direction. One hunter shouted, "Get those birds." Another covered his face. "They're everywhere." While they chased us, squirrels chewed through more ropes. Rabbits escaped. The deer broke free. Even the trapped eagles regained enough space to fly down and fight back. Within an hour the hunters ran away. The forest erupted with cheers. For the first time. Nobody looked at the eagles. They looked at us. An eagle I recognized landed beside me. It was the same one who laughed months earlier. "I was wrong about you." I smiled sadly. "No." He looked confused. "You weren't wrong because I'm like an eagle." I spread my black wings proudly. "You were wrong because you never saw what a crow could do." He lowered his head. "I'm sorry. I forgive you." Then came the biggest surprise of all. The forest elders announced a yearly council where every species would choose one representative. For generations only the strongest animals had spoken. This time they chose me. Not because I was the biggest. Not because I flew the highest. But because I had finally learned the value of being myself. During my first speech, I looked across the crowd. Young birds watched me with hopeful eyes. I remembered the lonely crow who once believed he wasn't enough. "I spent most of my life chasing someone else's wings," I began. "I thought being different meant being better." The forest became completely silent. But every creature in this valley has a gift that someone else doesn't. I looked toward the eagles. "You teach us courage." Toward the sparrows. "You teach us kindness." Toward the owls. "You teach us wisdom." Then I touched my own chest. "And crows." I smiled. "We remind everyone that intelligence, teamwork, and resilience can change the impossible." No one laughed. Many cried. After the meeting, the little sparrow landed beside me again. "You finally look happy." "I am." "What changed?" I looked at the evening sky where eagles and crows now flew together, each in their own way. I stopped trying to become someone I admired. and finally became someone I could respect. Years have passed since that terrible fall from the cliff. The scars on my wings never disappeared. Neither did the memories. Sometimes young crows still ask me if they should try to become eagles. I always smile. Then I tell them the truth that nearly cost me my life. The world doesn't need another eagle. It already has plenty. What it desperately needs is the very best version of you. And every time I finish that story, I look up at the sky. Not with envy anymore, but with gratitude. Because the greatest victory wasn't learning how to fly higher. It was finally learning why I was given my own wings in the first place.